Okay, hey, good morning, everyone, and thanks for dialing in. My name is Bruce Watkins with the Field Marketing Organization here at NetApp, and today we're going to review the what you missed at the NetApp Insight Show that just occurred last week in Las Vegas. Joining us today, we have a couple folks from the company who are going to participate. Before we get started, though, let's just talk about a couple housekeeping items. First of all, the lines will be muted, and that's really just to prevent the background noise. However, if you do have a question, please use the chat room in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. I would certainly welcome that interaction. And last but not least, I want to say thank you for your time today. Hopefully you put in your address in the registration page. We'd love to send you a pair of socks for your time. We'll probably keep today pretty high level and pretty quick to 20-25 minutes. Again, just want to give you a flavor of what the show was like, what you missed, what were some of the trends, some of the hot topics, and it's all about Insight in Las Vegas. So joining me today, a couple different folks. We're going to start with Rick Wilson, who is with the Product Marketing Group, along with his counterparts Simon Wheeler and Ling Wang. Again, that's our Product Marketing Group here at NetApp SolidFire. Also joining us today will be Keith Norby, who's a Senior Business Development Manager. And rounding out the team will be Andy Sayer, who's with our FlexPod group in the marketing organization as well. So here's some emails. If you need to contact anybody, feel free to send out an email if you have a follow-up question. Again, if you have an immediate question, throw it in the chat room. A real quick overview on the agenda. We're going to talk about the Insight Show. We'll give you a review on that. Any new product announcements from SolidFire, what happened there, as well as some additional NetApp, AFF, and ONTAP announcements. That's some exciting things going on there. And we'll also give a little bit about the FlexPod Presence and things that were shown at the show. So pretty straightforward agenda. And with that, let me go ahead and jump to the show review, and Rick, can I throw it over to you and touch base on that?
Sure, thanks, Bruce. So those that don't know, NetApp Insight is the NetApp's sort of premier technical training event for the year. We do two of these, one in Vegas for the Americas and typically Australia, the APAC teams. And then we have one in Berlin that will be next month, typically for our Europe employees and partners and customers. So this was the first event. It's in Vegas. We drew about 5,000, a little over 5,000 attendees. So that was up a bit from last year, which is pretty exciting. This event continues to grow. We had, it's a really an interesting event. So we have some big keynote presentations, general sessions, a couple of those throughout the week. But this is really a technical training event. So we have over 300 technical breakout sessions covering a wide range of topics throughout the NetApp portfolio. We have customers come in and present their solutions, how they are using NetApp technology and the benefits they see. We have NetApp University there to offer certifications on NetApp products. We also have 19 different hands-on labs, again covering all the products in our portfolio. So attendees can come in and really try out the latest versions of software, learn about new products or whatever they might want to do. We also have what we call Insight Central. So you can see a picture there of what that looks like, essentially a big trade floor where we have all the different NetApp products and solutions and services represented, as well as booths from our partners. So it's really, I think there are 50 or so NetApp booths and another 50 or so partner booths. So really a great place to come in and have specific conversations with NetApp technical experts as well as our partners. And then finally, over the last couple of years, we've added an Analyst Summit and Investor Summit. So sort of running concurrently, we have some of the big industry people come in so they can hear firsthand what NetApp is doing. They can come and participate in some of the labs. They can participate in the breakout sessions. They can join the NetApp Pavilion and really get a feel for what's going on at NetApp. We heard there's certainly lots of press out there today, over this past week about how successful this event was, how impressed a lot of this community was about what NetApp is doing, the direction we're going. So really just a very positive event for us. in general, and year after year, the attendees find this incredibly valuable to really get to touch the products, to speak with a lot of the technical experts, and learn about what's going on at NetApp. Okay, anyone else have any comments on the team, or we good?
Hey, Rip, is this, are you seeing mostly end users or partners at the show?
End users were invited to this event, I think 3 years back now, 2 or 3 years back. So it started off as a NetApp System Engineer Conference. We added partners years ago, and in the last couple of years, we've added customers. And from what I've seen, I think the customer-partner mix is pretty, I think is about the same. So about the same number of customers this year as we had partners, which is great. And then the employees, since we invite all of our systems engineers to come to this training, they might be about 40% or so, almost half of the attendees. So it's a pretty good split. It's almost a third, maybe a little heavier on the NetApp technical community.
Sweet.
All right, so if we touch quickly on the show themes, what were the big themes throughout the week? And certainly Data Fabric now, I think, was reinforced over and over. And we really debuted the Data Fabric a couple of years ago with some, showing some demos of what our intention was going to look like and what we meant with the Data Fabric. And over the last couple of years, it's become more and more real throughout the insights. And this year we had a lot of great demonstrations. We did some stuff on the main stage showing how we're moving data, moving backups from an on-premises backup to one of the big cloud providers and move it from that one to another one, doing backups with single-click backups to AWS and things like that. So we really began to show the world what we mean by the Data Fabric and how great it's going to be. So that was pretty exciting. The overall theme of a lot of our keynotes was about data being the currency of the digital economy, and how you're going to manage that data and protect that data, and really how hybrid cloud now is driving IT transformation. So how companies are using the cloud, and with our Data Fabric story, how you're able to move data from on-premises to cloud providers and back and forth as needed. What makes sense for your business. And then the other two kind of themes, we'll talk about this on the next slide a little bit more, was certainly a DevOps theme throughout the conference. We saw a lot of events both on the main stage as well as in the NetApp Pavilion and through the breakout sessions. So definitely an increase in that. And we had a lot of exciting all-flash FAS and ONTAP 9 announcements that Ling will get to in just a little bit. And then we also debuted the pub, as you can see there. You can find this at netapp.io or the netapp.github.io. This is a community that's really been built around our developers and operators out there, the DevOps community. It started with kind of an OpenStack community, a lot of forum stuff, and it's really grown from there to include containers and other items. We're really trying to encourage a lot of collaboration here. We're sharing code. We have a lot of tech blogs. We have a lot of forums. So it's really going to be an interesting community. I encourage all of our technical community out there to check it out. Just go to netapp.io, and you can create a login and join the pub community.
Yeah, and Rip, this is Keith. If I could just jump in on that real quick. Not to just give a basic overview of this. This is something that was pretty significant. Right now we're in a transformation to DevOps, Docker, a lot of container things. It is very interesting and meaningful to see not just a site pop up that they did, but the skit that they used to be able to kind of bring to life the narrative and the work that the Barnacles team has done to bring an integration not just to SolidFire's platform, but to all three platforms. And that was brought to life in a bit of a skit that they did on stage. And so there's some videos relative to that, I think, that are on YouTube now. Check those out. And really the depth that gets into there is really the day in the life of what DevOps might look like in an environment. And some of the partnerships that are going on with Docker and some of the more advanced ecosystems that are emerging that aren't always a traditional storage buyer. And that's one of the more refreshing parts of what I think came out of Insight was that, it's not just about storage. It was about data. It was about full solutions like FlexPod and things that are more meaningful to the IT buyer and the non-traditional buyer, the new emerging buyer. So just want to make sure I highlight a little bit of that for you. And again, check out netapp.io.
All right, thanks, Keith. All right, so quickly before we move on to some of the other products, this was the debut of SolidFire at the Insight Conference. This was an acquisition that closed earlier this year, so really the first opportunity for the SolidFire products and the SolidFire team to get out in front of the greater NetApp technical community. So this was pretty exciting. We had Dave Wright, founder of SolidFire and now VP at NetApp, on stage talking about SolidFire, all-flash architecture for the next generation data center. So that was great to see him up on stage. It really introduced a lot of NetApp customers to exactly what this platform is about. Great attendance at our sessions. We actually had 25 SolidFire sessions. About 2,000 attendees came through those sessions, which was great. And we actually had the third highest attended session, which was our 2-hour SolidFire deep dive. So really showing how our attendees really wanted to learn about this. They wanted to go to this 2-hour session. We actually also had the number 2 attended hands-on lab, which was SolidFire one-on-one. So I think a great first insight for the SolidFire team. A lot of excitement in our booth. You can see here a picture of, we did have a 4-node cluster on the floor that a lot of people came by to look at, to learn about. This is one of our chief technical guys, Rob Gordon, there. So a lot of great conversations on the show floor as well. And then, I think certainly this is bigger than SolidFire, but it was great to see the DevOps presence. This is a key use case for the SolidFire platform. It's where this platform excels, and we really saw a lot of DevOps throughout the show. Within the NetApp Pavilion, we had our Developer Cafe. So this was a great chance for attendees to come through and sit down with a lot of the technical leads from the hub there, as well as other conversations in that Developer Cafe. We had the main stage demonstration that Keith just referenced, where we kind of walked through the day in the life of a DevOps person. And then what was also interesting is we had a live Tech on Tap podcast. So if you don't know about the Tech on Tap podcast, I encourage you to go look that one up on your favorite podcast app. But they actually recorded an episode live on stage, and we had one of our partners come up and talk about DevOps. So really a consistent theme throughout the show, which was pretty exciting, and I think a fun change from some of the past insights where we're sort of branching out to some of the other non-traditional buyers and whatnot that Keith just talked about.
Yeah, and Rick, if I could maybe just go a little deeper into just some of the depth on the SolidFire thing. One of the outcomes that really came out of this event was really identifying SolidFire as something beyond just a traditional storage buyer. One of the things that SolidFire within, especially the tech ecosystem, is the appeal, and what we drew out of this event was kind of the appeal to the audience that this is something that the VM buyer in the VMware environment loves, because it has a lot of invisibility and zero touch to the storage platform, and they can really build VMs, build applications, really almost without dealing with storage. So it was nicknamed as storage, of course, for people that hate storage or don't want to deal with storage. And we saw that come to light in different sessions that we had on OpenStack, and the leadership that we've had in OpenStack and early Cinder integration, where we've got tons of reference architectures and wins and early leadership in Cinder for OpenStack. As well, we had a couple other things around the VMware environment. vVols is set to launch for us sometime in this month, and we had a chance to really articulate that in a couple of very well-attended sessions along with VMware. And it's really a technology that's designed and was showcased as a way to be able to help VM administrators, do what they've had trouble doing before because of storage limitations and automation limitations. And then the last part was the UC Launchpad. We got a chance to showcase a joint initiative that we have with UC, stands for End User Computing, which is where VDI lives. We have a joint initiative with them called uclaunchpad.com. And so more to come on that down the road, but we had a chance to really not just showcase the storage, but showcase how the storage matters as it came to life through the tech ecosystem of which people really care about, whether it was Docker, OpenStack, or VMware.
Great. Thanks, Keith. So I think that covers kind of the show overview and the SolidFire debut. So I'll turn it back over to Bruce.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to chime in before we jump to the next slide?
Yeah, this is Simon. I just wanted to add very briefly that even though this is a technical event and really focused on technical event, there was such a wide range of audience in terms of storage admins to partners to people that didn't have a clue what SolidFire is and what its main value proposition is as well. So the really fun thing was that it covered a wide range of audiences and participants and a wide range of knowledge and of SolidFire and NetApp SolidFire. So it was a really great event that actually catered to many different levels. And one of the things I really liked about this was the fact that the training sessions were tiered so that you could have, from beginner all the way through expert, so that it really catered to a very wide range of participants. And that was something that was really interesting, and especially considering with NetApp SolidFire, there was such a great contingent of people that were interested in all different levels.
Thank you, Simon. Okay, we're moving ahead. Let's talk a little bit about AFF. Ling, you want to chime in a little bit on this? Or anyone else?
Lang, are you muted?
Sorry, I was on mute. Thanks, Bruce. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the AFF and ONTAP announcements that we made during the Insight. So this was really exciting. So we announced that the brand new release of ONTAP 9.1 that has a lot of great capabilities and new features. And we also announced 6 new systems, including 2 brand new models for AFF and 4 new models for hybrid FAS. So let me go into a little bit detail. So for people who are not familiar with ONTAP, it's really the foundation of our data fabric vision, and it provides the enterprise-grade data management for a variety of different architectures, deployment models, and to support different applications, right? So it supports blocks of files or on flash and disk and the cloud. And then for deployment models, it supports across the board, right? So from storage arrays, converged infrastructure, software-defined, or near the cloud or in the cloud. So it's really a very flexible software data management software, so that we can provide the common data services across all these different deployments. And for different applications, from enterprise apps to some new emerging applications such as Hadoop, Docker, MongoDB. So all of these are really exciting. And one of the things that we announced is called Flex Group, and this is really a massively scalable data container, and that's great for applications with intensive compute or files, right? So it's really volumes that are grouped into pools spanning a whole cluster and managed as a single mount. And it can scale up to 20 petabytes and 400 billion files. So it's providing great operational simplicity and also consistent high performance. And it's great for applications in EDA, high-tech, oil, gas, media, and entertainment space. So along with the Flex groups, and we also introducing a new capability. It's called NetApp volume encryption. That's a software-based data at rest encryption. So it can work with any volume, any disk across AFF or FAS or ONTAP Select systems, and it really reduces the cost for data encryption. Now you don't need to have hardware self-encrypted drives anymore, and it provides more granular encryption. Now it's based on volume level. So that's really exciting as well. And then we introduced a new version of ONTAP Select, and this is really the software-defined storage based on a ONTAP operating system. And people can run this on the commodity servers. And with this ONTAP Select release, we're able to support all flash, all SSD configurations. And this can be deployed in data center or remote office and provides a flexible capacity-based license. And then we also released a new ONTAP Cloud. And so as people probably know that we have been supporting the AWS with ONTAP Cloud, but with this release, we're supporting the Microsoft Azure as well. So this is really the software-defined storage in the cloud with ONTAP's data management capabilities. And it uses pay-as-you-use flexible cost structure. And it's great for DevOps and cloud disaster recovery. And it provides the easy data movement between on-premises and the cloud. So now let's talk a little bit about the AFF. So we introduced the two new models, the AFF A300 and A700. By the way, we brought these systems to the show floor, and we had a great conversations, a lot of traffic. People were really excited about these new systems. They were playing around with them. So it was really a great show. And so AFF, people probably know that it's a great combination of all-flash performance and enterprise-grade management capabilities. And so with these new platforms, we're able to provide 2x the IOPS at half the latency for database workloads. And for a 24-node cluster, this can reach 7 million IOPS. So it's really great scalability. And both of them support 15 terabyte SSDs as the first to market. And also some great networking capability, network connectivities. For example, the 40 gigabit Ethernet and the 32 gigabit fiber channel connectivity. So these will remove the network bottlenecks as flash system gets faster and faster. So we're continuing with the simplicity theme with these new models as well. It takes like 10 minutes to set up from power up to serve application data. And the AFF A700 now deploys a new modular design. So all the compute modules and I/O modules can be independently serviced and upgraded, and you can take all of them out. As a matter of fact, a lot of attendees were really having a great time playing with taking out of the modules from the chassis. So, and we also introduced the 4 new hybrid FAS models, and these all of them provide onboard NVMe flash cache, and they are great a complement to the AFF systems for people who are not ready to go all flash but still want to accelerate enterprise apps and simplify their cloud environment, hybrid cloud environment. So that's about it for the AFF and ONTAP announcements. So we really hear a lot of great responses from the attendees. Some people, when they look at these systems, they said, this will infinitely change my life, right? And some other people, they're looking at the modular design of the A700. They were saying, wow, this is exactly what I need. And also hear people saying, you know, the storage efficiency and the drive sizes is really ridiculous. Yeah, so that's pretty much it from me.
Okay, Ling, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let's also talk a little bit about FlexPod. And for that, Andy, let's toss it over to you.
Hey, this is Andy Sayer. I'm Solutions Marketing for FlexPod here in NetApp. FlexPod, as usual, had a pretty big presence at Insight this year. We were in the NetApp Pavilion with a full rack FlexPod unit as well as a half rack that showed off our infrastructure automation capabilities. This is a FlexPod that can actually be ready for workloads within 1 hour from plugging it into power. For those of you who are not familiar with FlexPod, FlexPod is our converged infrastructure solution. That's a joint venture between Cisco and NetApp. We use Cisco UCS as the servers and Nexus switches, and then FAS or E-Series for storage for FlexPod. And recently we announced an add-in for SolidFire for an existing FlexPod. So you can get any type of NetApp storage on a FlexPod today. So all of this was demoed in the expo area. We had a virtual reality FlexPod where you could actually hold up your iPhone or iPad to a little model, excuse me, and you would get to see all the features and capabilities of a FlexPod while you're looking at your screen. We also had a Build a FlexPod tool that we showed on the floor as well this year that allows you to basically design your own FlexPod, picking whichever servers and storage and switching models that you preferred, and pull it all together and see what that would look like in a rack. We had a number of track sessions that were well attended this year that were technical deep dives on various areas of FlexPod. These were led by NetApp and Cisco engineers. In addition, we participated, as Rip said earlier, in an analyst summit that we had 35 industry analysts come in. We had a full day of one-on-one sessions with them, as well as some overview sessions that they attended with our executives. In addition to that, we had a series of partner one-on-ones with our national partners who sell FlexPod. We learned a lot about what the challenges and opportunities are for FlexPod out there, as well as got to share some of the new capabilities for FlexPod with these partners. Of course, it wasn't all work. We had some fun and games as well. There was a couple of events. On Monday night, we did a customer appreciation event for FlexPod where we had a couple hundred attendees at the Ghost Bar, which is a top floor kind of bar that you get a view of Las Vegas from on top of the Palms, which was very fun and elegant. And then the second night, on Tuesday night, we had a partner reception at the 1923 Prohibition-style bar, which was a lot of fun. We had a couple hundred people fit into a much smaller venue, so it was a lot of fun to get to meet and talk with people there. So great attendance overall for FlexPod, a lot of interest all around Insight. It was a pretty good show for us, so thanks.
All right. Andy, thank you so much. With that, let's go ahead and wrap things up. We do appreciate your time. Insight Berlin is coming up in November, so we strongly encourage you, if you have the opportunity to attend that show. Again, please join us again for these What You Missed webinars. We try and keep them short and sweet just to give you a taste. If you have additional questions, please email any one of us and we will get your questions answered. And with that, we appreciate your time and we will talk to you soon. Thanks so much.